Hi, I'm Aaron Plunkett with CollegeLevelAthletes.com.
And I'm Danny DeBerry.
Today we're bringing you our first ever CLA weekly recap segment. We've been around since 2008 as CollegeLevelAthletes.com. You might know us on Twitter as the D1 Bound Guys. We're at Sports Recruits on Instagram and Twitter. We wanted to bring you something a little bit different this week. We're going to be talking about some of the top performers, some players to watch. I know you had a chance to check out Long Beach Poly versus Westlake. That was one of the top games of the week on our matchup list. What did you see out of that game, and who was the top player?
It was a great game. Westlake jumped out to a 14-0 lead, but Long Beach Poly rallied back. Josh Love, their quarterback, threw 4 big touchdown passes, and he just pretty much took control of the game, and their defense shut Westlake down in the second half. But I would say Josh Love stole the show, and right now he has no offers, but he's someone who should be on the radar of a lot of college teams.
I had a chance to go out to Corona and watch that Centennial versus Bishop Gorman game. Some of the top players, one guy who you would expect to have a big game, Alize Jones, huge tight end, got him projected to play the flex position, UCLA commit, 6'5", 220, 2 touchdown catches, game-winning 2-point conversion catch. Also another youngster that played well in that game, definitely had to be co-player of the game, was Tate Martell, quarterback, class of 2017. He's a UW commit, been committed for a long time, but this kid, ever since he took over in the Servite game, has just been performing out of this world. Last weekend, we went down to Oceanside and we had a chance to check out the Honor Bowl. Who were some of the top players on the field that really stood out in your opinion?
Definitely, there were 5 great games over 2 days. The main event, Sam Richmond from Bellevue had a sweet game with 2 touchdowns against Gardena Sarah. For Sarah, John Houston on defense was a force. For the Cathedral Catholic Oaks Christian game, I thought Ray Smith really stood out on defense for Cathedral Catholic, while Michael Pittman and Jeremy Vincent had good games for Oaks Christian.
I definitely agree with you there. That game was an amazing game. I think Tyson Maeva had that pick that led to the touchdown that ultimately led to the Cathedral Catholic win, but I definitely have to agree with you there. Those were definitely some of the top players. The youngster QB Holden Thomas for Oaks Christian is definitely another player that you're going to have to watch out for.
And in the first game of the day, not a lot of defense played, mostly a shootout, high-scoring game with Corona Centennial and Orange Lutheran, back and forth. J.J. Taylor ran wild, 52-49, just probably the best game back and forth of the whole weekend.
Another kid that stood out in that game was the Olu fullback, Patrick Reardon. He's a senior. He reminded me of John Ritchie out there, with the bloody face mask with the Raiders. But that guy's amazing. He's going to be another player to watch for. One guy that really stood out to me over the weekend was watching Upland this last week against Tesoro. Josh Woods, the UCLA commit, he's about 6'3", 200 pounds, had 2 touchdowns. It was a losing effort to Tesoro. Upland lost 28-14. But another player to look out for is Devin Modster, about 6'2", 180, playing quarterback, but got him listed as an athlete over at Tesoro. Definitely somebody to watch for, along with a wide receiver over there.
Jake Smeltzer, playmaker, has a few offers with some Ivy League schools. Should probably rack up some more as the season goes along.
Now we've got a little segment right here called Players to Watch, and these are guys who may have some offers, may not, but some guys who are not under the microscope of college recruiters right now. But the first guy I want to talk a little bit about is Michael Pittman. You talked about him before from Oaks Christian. Class of 2016, no offers, just transferred in, but he's the son of a former NFL running back, Michael Pittman. So he's definitely got the pedigree, 6'3", 190, and I know you like how he plays defense, but talk a little bit about some of the other guys who have stood out to you that might not be getting that national attention.
Well, I've had a chance to catch a couple of Westlake games. They've got a couple of juniors, Theo Howard and Chase Jasmine on offense, who make plays all over the field. Chase Jasmine out of the running back spot has got home run speed. Theo Howard has just great hands, great route running, makes good catches on the sidelines. Both guys to keep an eye out for sure.
There's another Centennial kid, actually 2 of them that are making noise this year. Samonte Bonner, somebody who maybe nobody's ever talked about, but he's somebody who's comes in and kind of shoulders the load for J.J. Taylor, who is their primary guy. But they're both 2016 kids, and there's somebody you've got to look forward to watching in the future. Another kid, 2016 from Centennial, Chacho Uloa. He's got a Boise State offer, a Utah offer. The kid played amazing against Bishop Gorman, had a pick where he tipped the ball. Not only did he tip it, but he caught the interception as well. Pretty amazing kid, somebody you definitely want to watch out for. Talk a little bit about that Long Beach Poly team. I know there were some players who definitely stood out in your opinion. Who were those guys?
Definitely, they got speed all over the field on offense. Josh Love had a lot of guys that spread the ball around too. Johnny Rucker, Dejon Jeffrey Logan, Jack Jones, Jeremy Calhoun out of the backfield is a workhorse. Poly looks like a force to be reckoned with this season.
There are some guys who stood out to me, in a couple of games this season, but, from a team standpoint, who is that team, you would say in the CIF Southern section right now or in Southern California, who is that team to beat right now?
I mean, certainly Bosco's the team that went undefeated last season, but I had a chance to catch Mater Dei in week 1, and they look really impressive on defense especially. And Jack Lowry at quarterback seems to have a nice control of the offense. So I'd say keep a lookout for Mater Dei.
Everybody knows about those top teams, especially over here in the CIS Southern section. A lot of national powerhouses. You got Bosco, Mater Dei, Servite. You got Sarah, Westlake playing well this year. Alemany. We got Centennial, Mater Dei, Orange Lutheran, J. Sarah. Ton of good teams out here. But you know what? This segment is called 2014 Sleeper Squad. So we're going to talk to you about some teams that may not be getting that spotlight, but definitely have a chance to make a run in the playoffs. Danny, for you in particular, who are those teams that you like this season that might not be, getting that pub, but deserve it?
Well, Notre Dame out of Sherman Oaks is a squad to keep an eye out for. They're in a very tough league, but they're off to a 3-0 start. Leo Lambert's rushing the ball all over the field. CJ Sanders is probably the best receiver in his league. He's practically unguardable. When I had a chance to watch him at the opening, he was probably one of the best receivers up there. I think Notre Dame's a squad to keep an eye out for sure.
I really like that Orange Lutheran team, and you know what? They would be 3-0 right now, undefeated, if it weren't for the 52-49 loss against Centennial. But Orange Lutheran is definitely turning it around. They got Keyshawn Lucier South, one of the top defensive end recruits in the nation, but they've also got a lot of firepower on offense. They got young quarterback LJ Northington. They've got a young wide receiver in Elijah Bynum, who's definitely making some noise, 2016 kid. But as opposed to last year when they were running more of that fly wing T offense, they've mixed in the spread this year, which has definitely proven to work well for them, putting up 49 against Centennial. Who are some of those other guys you think that might step it up this year?
I think Burbank is a team to keep a lookout for, with James Booby Williams running the rock, and they have a very favorable schedule. They're at Canyon this week, but I feel if they can pull off that win, it sets up really nice for a great season for them.
You know what? I like St. Francis's chances, and they've got a lot. Say it again. St. Francis's chances. They've got a lot of guys on the team this year who are going to make plays. You've got the Williams brothers, Avery and Mason. You've got Dylan Crawford back there. You've got Arag Nazarian running the ball. But St. Francis is definitely going to make noise. They got a game this week coming up that should be a tough one at home. Talk a little bit about that St. Francis matchup.
They got Monrovia coming in. They handled them fairly easily last year, so I expect them to win the game again.
A team that I like, 1-2 right now, but mark my words, this Centennial team is tough. They played Gorman tough. I know they had another tough loss against Mater Dei, a tough Mater Dei team. But you know what? It looks like they've got, after this Long Beach Poly game this weekend, a pretty favorable schedule. But on the other hand, you look at a team like Orange Lutheran, and their schedule is stacked. They still got Servite to play. They've got Mater Dei. That whole Trinity League is tough. Talk about the Trinity League and how tough it is this year.
It's stacked from top to bottom. Every team is playoff bound or is capable of making a playoff run. They got good quarterback play. Just probably the toughest league out there. The Mission League gives them a run for their money, but I think the Trinity takes the top spot.
Talk a little bit about this weekend's matchups. I know there's some great games. Where can everybody find the CLA and D1 bound team?
There's a lot of exciting games on the schedule this week. One of the big ones is Salesian versus Loyola, two programs with a great tradition. It should be a great game. Another one is J. Sarah taking on St. Bonaventure from Ventura and USC commit Ricky Town at quarterback. That should be a classic battle between two pretty solid
We got a
squads.
heated rivalry too with Servite and Edison out at Cerritos College. That should definitely be a good one, and we'll be there on the sidelines for that game.
Certainly, Edison comes in that game undefeated, and we also got Monrovia at St. Francis. Two schools that have been putting out solid programs lately, but St. Francis should be the heavy favorite in that one, if you ask me.
All right, well, you heard it first from CLA. Our first CLA weekly recap. Thanks a lot, Danny. And
No problem. See you on the fields.
all right, tune in next week.